Hello friends, I welcome you all in the lecture series of Basics of Python. This is lecture number 18. In last lecture we learned about how to create for loop and while loop. So today we will see what is nested loops. So nested loop is also called as loop inside loop. So the inner loop is executed every time for each iteration of outer loop. What do I mean? Let's consider a clock. Okay, so let's consider a clock in which we have 1 hour hand and 1 minute hand. So for each hour there is a full rotation of minute hand. So similarly there is inner loop which completes its full execution for each iteration of outer loop. Okay, so where we use nested loop, these loops are useful in multi-dimensional data like matrix. These nested loops are useful in repeating task where we have to repeatedly do a repeating task. Okay, so now let's go to the Google Colab and let's see how we can create a nested loop. Okay, here I'm creating one nested loop using for loop. So initially I'm creating for loop for I in range of 3. Okay, under this for loop I am creating another for loop for j in range 2. So print I comma j. Okay, so here I have created one simple example. This I will running from 0 to 2. Okay, this I will running from 0 to 2. Under this for loop I have created another for loop where j is running from 0 to 1. Okay, where j is running from 0 to 1. So for each I, j is running from 0 to 1. For example, for I is equal to 0, j will be printed. For I is equal to 0, j will be printed 0, 1 and 2. Again I will be incremented by 1, so j will be again printed 0, 1 and 2. So let me run this one. So here you can see when I is equal to 0, j is running from 0, 1. Okay, for I is equal to 1, j is running from 0, 1. For I is equal to 2, j is running from 0 and 1. So this is how you can create very simple nested for loop. Now let's see how we can create a pattern using nested loop. So for I in range, for I in range 3, for j in range 3. Okay, so print star comma end is equal to, I have to get out of this and print nothing. Okay, so let me run this one and let's see the which pattern. So here you can see so the 3 star in row and 3 star in column we have. So let's understand the working of this. So okay, so this is our pattern. So we have 1 star, this is 2nd star, this is 3rd star. Right, so now here you can see the for I is running from range 3. So what does it mean? So value of I will be running from, for I is equal to 0, j will be running from 0, 1 and 2. Now again I will be incremented by 1, I will be running from 1. So again j will be running from 0, 1 and 2. Similarly now I will be incremented up to 2. So for these 2, j again will be running from 0, 1 and 2. So this is how your nested loop is working. So this j is running from 0 to 2 for each value of I, 0, 1 and 2. Okay, so this is how this nested for loop works. Okay, now let's try to create some another pattern. We will try to create upper triangular using star. So for that, here I am creating one variable, rows is equal to 5. Okay, so I want 5 rows, and for I in range rows. Okay, so I will be running from 0 to 4. Now for j in range I comma rows. Okay, so j will be running from I to j because I want upper triangular. So for each row there must be one column reduce, right? So I will print the star mark comma end is equal to, okay, and I will get out of this code and print nothing. So let me run this one. So here you can see this pattern, upper triangular pattern. So initially the I will be running from 0 to 4. So there are 4 rows, 1 2 3 4. Okay, so initially I will be running from 0 to 4. So here you can see there are 5 rows, 0 1 2 3 0 1 2 3 and 4. So there are total 5 rows are here, and for each row the j will be running from I to rows. Okay, so initially the value of I will be 0 and number of rows are 5, so it will running from 0 to 5. So okay, now let's understand the working of this code. So this is the okay, so this is our pattern. Now let's understand the working of the code. So what we did, so I will be running from 0 to 4. So we have I is equal to 0, I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2, I is equal to 3, and I is equal to 4. For each I, j will be running from, so j will be running from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. In next iteration j will be running from, so in next iteration j will be running from I. So and j is running from I to 4 because rows are 4, right? So j will be running from I to 4. So now this time I is equal to 1, so it will running from 1 2 3 and 4. So when I is equal to 2, j will be running from 2 3 and 4. When I is equal to 3, j will be running from 3 to 4, and when I is equal to 4, j will be running from 4. Okay, so this is how we can draw the pattern. So this is how we can draw the pattern. You can try different pattern to, so that your programming skill will be improved. You can use continue and break statement so that you can break the iteration for inner loop or outer loop at particular instance, or you can skip particular iteration by using continue statement. So for that I have to write if j is equal to, if j is equal to 2, for example, if j is equal to 2, I will write continue. Okay, so I will skip the iteration for j is equal to 2. So let me run this one and let's see the output. Here you can see there are only 4 stars are printed. Why? Because the second iteration it has skipped. Okay, here you can see 3, before we have 5 star, now it is 4 star only. So it skip the iteration when the j is equal to 2. Similarly you can use break statement also. So break, so it will break the iteration when j is equal to 2. Here you can see for j is equal to 2, it never printed the star. Okay, now let's see how we can use while loop in nested loop. So for that I have created one variable I is equal to 1. So after that I have written while I is less than 3. So uh, for each iteration I is less than 3, under this while loop all these lines will be executed. If this condition is not true, in that case it will get out of this loop. Now after that for j is equal to 1, here I have written while j is less than 3. Okay, so this is another loop which is written inside this while loop. So for this j is less than or equal to 3, I am printing the value of j. After that I am going to increment the value of j by 1 and print nothing, and then after I am going to increment the value of I by 1. So here we'll be printing, so let's see the output. So you can see 1 2 3 1 2 3 and 1 2 3. So it will print 1 2 3 3 times. Okay, why? Because this outer loop is running from 1 to 3 and this inner loop is running from 1 to 3. So this j value is running from this 1 2 and 3 for each value of I. So a value of I is running from this each row. Okay, so this is how you can use nested loops. In this lecture we learn about how to write nested loops. Thank you.